following Rin's monster flow against his brother Sai that ultimately led to a clutch goal by Isagi in the dying moments of the game against under-20 Japan. Blue Lock 11 emerged triumphant, saving not only their future, but also the very project that Ego had begun. But the story was far from over, and by the end of it came a new challenge, as Ego introduced his egoistic dream to managers and federations across the world, giving birth to the Neo Egoist League, where both new faces and familiar rivals were set to compete in what promised to be a thrilling new chapter. Yet before the next phase of training could begin, the players of Blue Lock were sent back home to rest. Rin, too, found himself free, sitting on the shore he and his brother once visited, his mind still replaying the scenes of the under-20 match. He remembered the moment when he had the upper hand against Sai, yet even in victory, he could not fully grasp the new side of himself that had surfaced. It felt foreign, and yet nostalgic, as if his veins themselves were dancing. What unsettled him more was how Sai seemed to already know about this hidden part of him. Rin wondered briefly if his brother's plan all along had been to awaken that ego buried within, but he dismissed the thought instantly. None of it mattered, because in the end, Sai had recognized Isagi instead, and it was clear that while Isagi had gained everything from that match, Rin had fallen one step short. Fueled by that realization, determination burned hotter within him. Rising to his feet, he gazed out at the sea, declaring silently that he would change, that he would give everything to surpass and destroy both Isagi and Sai. Meanwhile, inside the Yoichi household, a quieter scene unfolded. Isagi's family sat together for dinner, his parents brimming with pride as they told their son how happy they were to see him doing what he truly loved. They said it never mattered to them whether he scored or won, for they would always support him, wishing only for him to live his life freely. Their words lingered in Isagi's heart long after, echoing in his mind as he lay in bed later that night. He wondered whether living life as one wanted was what it meant to be an egoist. The thought left him uncertain, yet it sparked something inside him, a renewed energy that made him promise himself he would do whatever it took to stay in Blue Lock. His reflection was cut short when his phone buzzed with a notification from Henri announcing the restart of activities at Blue Lock, instructing him to return immediately. The same message reached every participant, and by the next day, the players had all gathered once more, ready to step into the second phase of the project. Inside the building, Isagi was surprised to see members of the under-20 team already present. Aiku explained that they were there by Ego's invitation to join the new project. Bachiro welcomed the reunion with cheer, but Isagi's focus shifted to the other side of the room, where Rin leaned against the wall in silence. As he approached with the intent to greet, Rin cut him off coldly, telling Isagi to quit talking and calling him a wannabe hero. Before the tension could escalate further, the massive screen lit up and Ego's face appeared, commanding everyone's attention as he welcomed them back. Ego wasted no time explaining the purpose of their gathering, declaring that from this moment forward, he alone would be in charge of selecting the team to represent Japan at the Under-20 World Cup, now only 100 days away. But he spoke with conviction, stating that if the players in their current state entered the tournament, victory would be utterly impossible. To change that, he revealed the path he had prepared, one that would force them to evolve at a rapid pace. For this, a new environment was required, a second phase of Blue Lock that would throw them into the heart of the footballing world, Europe's Big Five leagues. To simplify their choices, Ego broke down his judgment of each league. England, he said, was a battlefield of speed and physicality, a place where goals were stolen through sheer power and entertainment reigned supreme. Spain was where technique and creativity thrived, where fans demanded not just goals, but artistry. Italy was a land of cunning tactics and airtight defense, where victories were earned by combining individual brilliance with organizational discipline. France, meanwhile, was a gateway of opportunity, flooded with wealth and young players eager to make their mark. And finally, there was Germany, the league built on logic and rationality, where the philosophy was simple. Football was won by scoring the most goals. It was here that the world's best striker, Noel Noah, reigned supreme. As the presentation ended, Ego reminded them that this decision would be their rite of passage into professionalism. They had to clearly envision what they wanted to become and choose the environment best suited to forge their path, because the ticket to the final Under-20 World Cup selection would only grow harsher from here. With that, the clock began ticking, giving them just 90 minutes to make their choices, with only 9 slots available in each league. Igarashi was the first to act, immediately calling dibs on Germany. Otoya followed with Spain, Aryu with Italy, and Zantetsu with France. Chigiri, still uncertain, glanced at Isagi and asked if he had made his choice yet. Isagi admitted he had not, confessing that while he understood they needed to choose a league to learn from, he remained undecided. He threw the question back at Chigiri, who answered with conviction that he wanted his speed to be tested, which was why he had already set his sights on England. Hearing this, Ryo, who had been listening nearby, announced that he would join Chigiri, his decision also fixed on England. Isagi's eyes then found Nagi, and he asked him about his choice. Coincidentally, Nagi too had picked England, deciding it would be the perfect ground to sharpen his skills further. Watching Isagi still struggle with indecision, Bachira came over with a grin, revealing that he had chosen Spain for its dribbling and technical flair. Isagi admitted he had expected as much, but Bachira brushed it off, telling him that the choice itself didn't matter. To him, what mattered was becoming the best striker in the world, and no matter the environment, he would climb to the top of wherever he went. It wasn't about making the right choice, but about carving a path for oneself. He urged Isagi to do the same, not to rely on logic, but to trust his instincts, just as he had. Bachira's words cleared the fog in Isagi's mind, and in that moment, he decided to trust his instincts. He chose the place that would make his blood boil the most, and that was none other than Germany. With that, the team selections for the second phase of Blue Lock came to an end, each player having chosen the environment they wished to grow in. To set things in motion, the 9 who picked Germany were instructed to enter the next room. Those 9 were Igarashi, Yukimiya, Hiyori, Raichi, Gagamaru, Neru, Corona, Kiora, and lastly, Isagi himself. As they stepped into the darkened chamber, they were greeted by Ego's hologram. He welcomed them and revealed that their destination was Bastard München, the strongest team in Germany. Further explaining, he added that they would be training and playing with the club's under-20 players. Isagi could hardly believe it. Joining even a secondary-level squad of such a world-renowned club felt unreal. Igarashi and Raichi were ecstatic, celebrating loudly, only for Ego to immediately shatter their excitement with a blunt clarification. They weren't going to Germany at all. Instead, the environments of the 5 great European leagues would be recreated here inside Blue Lock. To achieve this, Ego had invited players of their age who currently played for the top clubs across Europe's Big 5, England's Manchester City, Italy's Ubers, Spain's FC Barça, France's Paris X-Gen, and Germany's Bastard München were all represented. Their task was simple: survive and win within this recreated world. But this time, Ego would not be the one guiding them. That duty would fall to the very ace strikers who ruled over these teams. From Bastard München, it was none other than Noel Noah, the strongest striker in the world. Ego added that this wasn't exclusive to Germany. Each stratum had its own master striker, and under-20 regulars gathered under them. He began their introductions with England's perfect hero, Chris Prince, a striker considered to rival Noel Noah himself. Spain's stratum had Lavinho, the genius dribbler and top scorer known as the Dancer. Italy's Ubers were led by Snuffy, the crown messenger, famed for bringing victory wherever he went. And finally, France's PXG was home to the supernova Julian Loki, the fastest striker in the world. Each of these masters, Ego declared, would pass down their unique philosophies. Whether the Blue Lock players wanted it or not, they would have to evolve within that system. Detailing the structure of Phase 2, Ego explained that first, every player would be placed in a mixed training team under their master striker. From there, those who proved their value would be chosen to form the squads alongside 11 members from the original clubs. The matches that followed would pit these teams against one another, forming a league of 5, giving the Blue Lock players opportunities not only to clash with new rivals, but also to fight against former allies who had chosen different paths. Ego then laid out the rules. Each match would be decided by the first team to score 3 goals, with the allowance of 2 unlimited substitutions. But the most thrilling rule of all was the star change system. Once per match, a team could substitute their master striker for 3 minutes, raising the stakes and the entertainment to an entirely new level. Though the players buzzed with excitement, Ego's stern reminder pierced through as he declared this phase would also decide the final Under-20 World Cup selection. After each match, rankings could change completely, and only those who remained standing at the top after the final game would secure their place. This, Ego proclaimed, was the battle of survival for the new generation, the birth of a football that had never been seen before, the start of the Neo Egoist League. The declaration ignited a fire in Isagi, his chest tightening with exhilaration. The chance to learn directly from his idol, Noah, was before him. For the first time, he felt the path to becoming the world's best striker was truly opening. Yet before the thought could fully settle, Ego spoke again, saying he had one last matter to address. On Bastard München's side, there was another player he personally insisted on including. The room fell silent as he revealed that while most Blue Lock players had followed what he called the proper path, he had also prepared a hidden one for those defeated, forcing them into different philosophies. Out of that path, one monster survived, and now he would return to Phase 2. The doors creaked open, and in walked the lone survivor of the wild card, the Dark Horse himself, Kunigami Rensuke. Gasps rippled through the room as Ego announced Kunigami's return. With that, he declared the official kickoff of Blue Lock Phase 2 and handed the reins to Noah. The hologram vanished, and a mechanical doorway opened before them, revealing a dazzling cybernetic field. Noah's voice thundered in German, instructing them to reach the goal where he would be waiting. A countdown appeared, and the Blue Lock players immediately understood. It was a race against Bastard München's Under-20 squad to reach the destination first. Isagi, spotting Kunigami after so long, called out to him, welcoming him back as a superhero. Kunigami's cold reply shut him down, telling him to drop that childish name as he no longer called himself that. Isagi was stunned at how different he seemed, but the buzzer went off before he could process it further, and everyone burst from the starting line as the training began. They opened with a straightforward sprint. Yet even here, Isagi noticed Kunigami's staggering improvement. He was faster, stronger, his physical specs far beyond what they once were. By the time they reached the second zone, a steep upward slope, Isagi marveled at how effortlessly the German players climbed, questioning if they were really even the same age. But refusing to fall behind, he pushed onward and cleared the third zone without issue. Then came the fourth, a brutal test of step jumps. This time, the Blue Lock players faltered, their movements sluggish and strained. Only one among them managed to keep pace with Bastard München's players, Kunigami, who leapt with a force and precision that proved just how much he had changed. Just then, a sharp buzz confirmed the first player to reach the goal, infuriating Isagi, who immediately pushed himself harder to catch up. He stormed into the final zone, dribbling past the obstacles with precision, eyes locked on the target as he prepared to take his shot at the highest score possible. But as his foot struck the ball, a presence flashed at the edge of his vision. Another player had fired at the same moment, his shot colliding mid-air with Isagi's and nullifying it before it could hit the target. Stunned, Isagi turned, only to see the player step forward and introduce himself as Kaiser. In German, he told Blue Lock to kneel, remarking that he had been waiting to meet Isagi all along. Recognition sparked in Isagi's mind instantly. This was Michael Kaiser, a player of the same stature as Itoshi Sai, one of the new generation World 11. Frozen in place, Isagi barely noticed his teammates crowding around him, asking what had happened. Before the situation could escalate further, another German player stepped forward, chastising Kaiser by pointing out that none of the Blue Lock players understood a word he was saying. He then approached and handed them a set of micro-interpreters, allowing them to finally grasp the communication. Introducing himself, he told them his name was Alexis Ness. The introductions didn't stop there. Two more players from Bastard München's under-20 squad stepped up, Eric Gessner and Benedict Grimm. Their demeanor was far from welcoming, sneering as they told Ness to quit being so polite, venting frustration that they had only come because they were told Blue Lock players were extraordinary. From what they had seen, they said, that didn't seem to be the case. As the tension hung in the air, Isagi didn't even realize when Kaiser's hand slid under his chin and pulled him closer. With a calm, yet unnerving intensity, Kaiser told him not to disappoint, claiming he had come here solely for him. Isagi tried to pull away, but Kaiser's grip tightened, dragging him closer still. He told Isagi to shut his mouth and prove to him that coming here wasn't a waste of time. Anger flared in Isagi's chest. He met Kaiser's piercing gaze and accepted the challenge, declaring he would gladly ruin his life. Kaiser only smirked, calling him a foolish clown, before proclaiming that Blue Lock would rise and fall for his sake, alone, until he claimed the stage as the world's greatest striker. The tension snapped as a commanding voice cut through the room. Noah appeared, ordering Kaiser to quit acting childish. Kaiser tried to talk back, but Noah's cold rebuke silenced him instantly. He reminded Kaiser that here, he was the one who made the rules. Noah then addressed the group, stating that the initial training was complete. Its purpose, he explained, was to measure each player's physical ability, emphasizing Bastard München's philosophy of extreme rationality. He revealed that based on their training and gameplay data, each player would be ranked, and only those who placed in the top 11 would earn the chance to play in the next match. The results flashed before their eyes, and Isagi's heart sank. He was dead last, his score ruined by Kaiser's blocked shot. None of the other Blue Lock players managed to break into the top 11 either, leaving them far behind Bastard München's regulars. Only one exception stood out: Kunigami. The wildcard had secured third place, surpassing nearly everyone except Ness, who ranked second, and Kaiser, who sat firmly at the top. Crushed but not broken, Isagi resolved to climb back. The very next day, he dedicated himself to Noah's strict routine, grinding through every drill and data-driven session to push his ranking upward, even if only slightly. With only 10 days left until the first match, he knew the reality. Unless he broke into the top 11, he would never set foot on the field. That meant devouring everything Bastard München had to offer. Late at night, poring over his field stats and gameplay data, Isagi realized the truth. His power and passing abilities were still lacking. He had never relied on physical strength to get this far, and that weakness now anchored him to the bottom. Desperate for an answer, he decided to confront Noah directly. He entered the Master Striker's room and, without hesitation, asked what he lacked to reach the top. Noah regarded him calmly, his response simple yet heavy. He told Isagi to rethink his entire way of playing and to return with an idea and a logic strong enough to defeat even him. 10 days later, The day of the first Neo Egoist League match arrived. From Germany's dugout, the starting 11 emerged, composed of Bastard München's regulars and Kunigami, who had secured his spot. Isagi remained on the bench, restless, watching with fire in his eyes. Noah's words echoed in his mind, reminding him that even without playing, he could still learn and grow by devouring everything before him. The announcer's voice boomed across the stadium, calling forth their opponents, Spain's FC Barça. From their lineup, two familiar faces appeared, both Bachira and Otoya among the starters, having already surpassed Spain's regulars to claim their spots. Isagi's chest tightened as he thought back to those 10 grueling days of training, berating himself for failing to make it into the 11 when others had managed it on both his side and the opposing one. The sight of Kunigami in the German lineup and Bachira in the Spanish one left him fuming. Every second spent on the bench felt like torture. He wanted to be on that pitch more than anything, but he knew frustration alone would not change anything. Gritting his teeth, he vowed to burn every movement into his mind, to analyze every strength and weakness of the players before him until his chance came. And then, the announcer's call shook the stadium once more, officially commencing the first match of the Neo Egoist League, Germany's Bastard München versus Spain's FC Barça. That's it for the first episode of Blue Lock Season 3. Stay tuned, more episodes are on the way. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss episode 2 when it drops. I'll see you soon with a brand new chapter.